What does social productions want to know?
I want to know if BK, have you heard anything on this? That we got an agreement going on, Copenhagen Agreement. Have you heard anything on that?
Copenhagen Agreement. Copenhagen Agreement. Let me tell you something. Copenhagen. We ain't going to be coping easy with what's up in Copenhagen soon.
Copenhagen has pulled out all the stops.
And Lord Monkton, a British lord who used to be an aide to Margaret Thatcher in the 80s, says he's read it and has come out and spoken about it, and no one's really challenging him because he pretty much says this. The Copenhagen Agreement will create a communist world government controlled by the United Nations.
All the stops.
On to the next, no one world government. Take your carbon tax and start shoving it. On to the next, no one world government. Take your carbon tax and start shoving it. Hold up. Eugenics behind and viral schizophrenic. Control freak, soul weak, bootlicking menace.
280 parts per million.
Elizabeth, I'm going to ask you to stop there. That's a great answer. Thank you. Comprehensive, and we appreciate that here at the Monk Debates.
Bank machine network is powered from green power.
Right.
That's amazing. Now,
honestly, it's ridiculous. I mean, CO2, we need CO2 to live.
Stop global cooling, folks. We all have to do our part.
Yeah. Stop global cooling, folks.
Does this feel like the Earth is getting warmer? Feel it. I have my hands in my pockets. Come on.
We waste in this country more energy than we use.
Global warming, do you feel warm right now? I'm in a coat here, I'm freezing.
Global cooling info.
Global cooling. Do your part to stop global cooling, ma'am. Thank you very much. There you go, ma'am.
Global cooling info.
Every drop of carbon dioxide counts. Stop global cooling. We need more carbon dioxide. Exhale.
Global cooling info. We all need to stop global cooling.
Exhale, there you go, sir. Exhale. There's a lot of ways to create a communist world government under control of the United Nations, especially incrementally. So keep in mind, Copenhagen didn't come out of nowhere. This is building on decades of international agreements. It's based on the carbon tax.
Power to Live Green, Toronto's new energy strategy, will create over 30,000 new green jobs and reduce the carbon emissions in heating for our homes by over 80%. So if we're going to do green, we've got to do it in a way that also creates local jobs for local people.
Climate change, I don't think is going to work unless everybody can take part and reduce their emissions and have an income to do that with.
Make it a little more, rather than voluntary, but mandatory.
Okay, mandatory offset. Guys, thank you so much for being on. It's great to have really smart young people here. It's time for another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at another one of the city videos that will be presented in Copenhagen. Thanks for being with us on The Mayor.
Webster Griffin Tarpley said they want to crucify us on a cross of carbon. Your carbon footprint. You're exhaling too much CO2, sir. Too much carbon dioxide. I'm sorry, sir. We have to worry about that. And you can tell how warm it's getting. Well, today's not bad. In general, last 2 years. So they try to crucify us on a cross of carbon. They want to tax us for everything we do. Every bit of energy that we use, every bit of energy that's used to produce anything, whatever. Okay, so starting off from the coffee bean, from where it's grown, the packaging, the transportation, the making of the oil into plastic, every single step of this process is supposed to be taxed by the UN.
We've put this through the calculations, and the computer says the people get it.
Our climate debt. So basically, what we owe the third world for is fucking up their climate. We're so sorry, Caribbean, we gave you such horrible weather. We're so sorry, Latin America, we gave you such horrible weather. We're so sorry, Africa, third world countries. We owe you a climate debt. We fucked up your climate. No, we didn't enslave all your people and steal all your shit. We fucked up your climate. That's what the Copenhagen Treaty, seriously, it's in our climate debt. The West owes the third world a climate debt. That's what this agreement's about. That's the Copenhagen Agreement. So there's that, a transfer of wealth. But keep in mind, none of what they've said so far has been true, so just keep an eye out for this in the future, kids.
And I put to the Minister for Poverty Alleviation in Lesotho that I would tonight, be debating someone from Denmark who wanted to make the claim that it would be wrong to spend too much averting climate crisis because we should put our money into poverty alleviation and fighting HIV/AIDS instead. And he said, and I must say he was enraged, he said, but the climate crisis is making HIV/AIDS worse in my country every day.
Wow.
He said, we are suffering a food crisis.
Elizabeth.
We cannot grow our food.
Elizabeth,
Okay,
you've
hold
got
on.
to... How is that possible?
Let's talk one
I'm
at a
saying
time.
what the Minister for Poverty Alleviation
Cut the
Lesotho
mics
told me
here.
last night.
We're going to restore a little bit of order, a little bit of civility to this conversation.
In March of 2007, the UN said It was going to get really warm if we didn't do something right away. It's been 2.5 years since they said, it's going to get really warm if we don't do something right away. And it didn't get really warm. It's getting cold, folks. Stop global cooling.
I mean, you can see my breath. You see your breath in the summer? No, you don't. You see it in the wintertime. It's global cooling, not global warming. I mean, step outside your house. That's the evidence you need.
Your carbon footprint's a problem. The carbon dioxide you exhale is bad for the earth. This is ridiculous. This is a fraud. We've got to expose this. The Climategate emails.
Look at what Elizabeth said. I think she probably regrets it a little, saying that we should do something about global warming because of AIDS. But let's just take a look because
the problem is that the world government's in the control of the same hands of the people who've been running and influencing the world so far would be nothing but disastrous. These are people who've enslaved the third world, who have 1 billion people on the verge of starvation, 3 billion living on less than $2 a day, and so on. So Canadians need to understand the ramifications of a world government, the loss of sovereignty, the inability for us to control our own resources and our own destinies, and we have to resist this.
Stop global cooling. There you go, ma'am. Do your part.
Just wearing a hat won't cut it.
No, it's still going to get cold. You're going to need a bigger hat next year.
Global cooling info. Real cold out. Colder than, I can't say that on TV.
Perhaps in March, the climate will change. Perhaps in June, the climate will change again. And we can have a gloriously warm city of Toronto if we just do our part to stop global cooling.
We got this. On to the next. No one world government. Take your carbon tax and start shoving it.